What is going on, y'all? My name is John, and this is Facemask Fantasy, bringing you new fantasy content every day right here on this channel. So if you have not subscribed already, please hit that button. And before I get into it, I just got to let y'all know that we are rolling out live streams. We have a live stream every Sunday at 10 a.m. to go over start-sit questions pre-kickoff, and we have a stream every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. to go over everything that happened in last week's games and to go over waiver options before the waiver deadline early Wednesday morning. So tune in with us every Sunday and every Tuesday throughout the season, and hopefully we can help you win your fantasy leagues. But without further ado, let's get into some fantasy talk. And ESPN's Adam Schefter reports that Derrick Henry suffered a season-ending foot injury during the Tennessee Titans' Sunday win over Indianapolis. Really unfortunate news because honestly, he's the most exciting running back in the league right now, and it's not even close. But it looks like Adrian Peterson is going to be working out for the Titans at some point today. But what does this mean for fantasy? AP could step into a role where he gets 20 to 30 touches weekly. And when last we saw AP, he played 16 games for the Lions, starting in 10 of them just last season. In his age 35 season, he rushed 156 times for 604 yards and 7 touchdowns, while averaging 6.9 yards per carry and catching 12 of 18 targets for 101 yards and 0 touchdowns through the air that season. In 2020, he was the RB33 in 16 games in standard leagues and the RB40 in PPR, and in the games he was listed as the starter for the Lions. From weeks 3 to 13, he was the RB27 in standard and the RB35 in PPR. In the 2 seasons prior, he was with the Washington football team. In 2018, he had 251 rushes for 1,042 yards and 7 touchdowns, and he caught 20 of 26 targets for 208 yards and 1 touchdown. He was the RB16 in standard and the RB19 in PPR. In 2019, he had 211 rushes for 898 yards and 5 touchdowns, while starting in the 15 games he played, catching 17 of 23 passes thrown his way for 142 scoreless yards. In 2019, he was the RB28 in standard and the RB33 in PPR. Now, what should we expect from him in 2021? The Titans were first in rushing attempts per game with Derrick Henry, with 32.5 through 8 games. If they rushed 5 times less without Henry than with Henry, they'd still rank 11th in the league with 27.5 rushing attempts per game, just behind Minnesota and just ahead of Indianapolis. Henry was averaging 27.37 rushes on the ground, so let's say that Peterson gets 22 a game on average, with maybe 1 target in the passing game. That might seem a little bit optimistic, but that seems right to me if I'm projecting Peterson in some sort of Henry role rest of season. I know Peterson declined in his on-the-field production over the last few seasons, but if we average his yards per carry over the last 3 seasons in the league, he'd be at 4.13. 22 carries a game at 4.13 yards per carry average would be 90 yards a game, which would put him only behind Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb. And if we're less optimistic about his role, let's give him 20 carries a game with his yards per carry average with Detroit last year, 3.9. He'd rank 7th in the league with 78 yards per game on the ground. That would put him in between Jonathan Taylor and what David Montgomery was averaging per game before going down, ahead of Mixon, Najee, and Robinson. Now, he won't be getting the passing down work, so that hurts his stock for his prospects this year in half PPR and PPR formats. I'd expect the majority of targets to be spread elsewhere around the offense, and the majority of the running back targets should go to Jeremy McNichols if AP were to be signed by the Titans in lieu of this very real threat of Henry missing the season due to his foot injury. In standard, AP would be an RB2 with high-end RB2 touchdown upside weekly. In PPR formats, we might be looking at a high-end RB3 flex option with weekly RB2 upside in games where, again, he gets a TD. And that is a very valuable option to have in fantasy rest of season, and AP could be a league winner here if he gets more than the 20 rushes and the 1 target a game I statted out for him. Now, we don't know if they sign AP or go elsewhere, or even stick with who they have in McNichols, Hilliard, Blasingame, and Sargent, but I'd put money on them getting a deal done to bring in somebody here to help shoulder the load while Henry is out. I mean, we are talking about the heaviest rushing team in the NFL losing the player that has been their entire offense this year. So I'm putting a claim in on AP if I'm an RB needy team with this news for sure, or even if I'm not an RB needy team. I know AP is not a sexy person to have on your fantasy squad at the age of 36, but he could provide 60% of what Henry was giving you, and 60% of the best RB in the league is still fantasy relevant for sure. So what do you guys think about this news with Derrick Henry and with AP maybe being signed to take his spot while he's sidelined with his foot injury? Put your thoughts in the comment section below. My name is John with Facemask Fantasy, bringing you new fantasy content every day right here on this channel. So if you have not subscribed already, please hit that button. Thank you for listening and have a great day.